Hello everyone and welcome to the final race of the season for the ARL F3 Season 6 Championship. We're going around the Interlagos Circuit today for the Brazilian Grand Prix, a track that promotes a lot of overtaking and is usually action galore, with some drivers trying to get up to GP2 and others trying to avoid relegation. It's going to be enticing and probably confusing at times to keep up with it all. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me once again in the commentary box is Jody Mills.
Hello Matt, thank you for that fantastic introduction to this race. It's going to be the best race of the whole season, I'm sure, because Brazil is nearly always the best race of the season as everyone's wanting to sign off with an absolute bang. So let's look forward to the race.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, Jody, as well. With the Season 5 podium, as you can see on your screens, iiTz took the victory once again from Metcalfe and SE Racing Team. The Season 5 pole position was actually by Dude Where's My Jev for a change, not iiTz with a 109.694. Will they go faster this season? Let's find out.
So we're here for F3 qualifying around the Interlagos Circuit in Brazil for the final race of the ARL season. And on the left we got the Italian driver Trianciastocche in the Force India, and on the right the Williams of EliteJoker. Both drivers managed to get a good line through the Senna S, and now coming onto this straight that will be the DRS straight in the race later on. Approaching the rev limiter as they come towards turn 3. Braking just between the 50 and 100 meter board before chucking the car into this fast left-hander, and as you can see, EliteJoker is around a tenth ahead at this point, so EliteJoker has had the best first sector of these two drivers. Now going up the hill towards this brilliant double apex right hand corner, and Wrimzy is using lots of the curb outside there, maybe a bit too much, but we'll let him get away with that for now, as they're now just waiting to get back onto the power as early as possible before another hard braking some back down to first gear for the hairpin. Both drivers take a nice line through there, as we only now got a couple of corners and a long straight to go, and these drivers both know that they have a good chance at pole position if they can get this crucial final corner right, and have both done it pretty well there. Wrimzy is now a little bit ahead of EliteJoker, so he's managed to gain time back in that second sector, and now it's full throttle DRS and curves towards the finish line. And it's Trianciastocche who takes pole position with a 109.696, and EliteJoker has to settle for P4, only 0.02 of a second behind, which shows how incredibly close this qualifying was between the top 4. Hopefully the racing coming up will be just as close.
Thank you very much, Fizzy, for that excellent qualifying comparison. Let's see how they line up for the final race of the season, the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's Trianciastocche taking pole position with a 109.696, but if you have a look at the top 4, that is probably the closest qualifying session I have ever seen. With only 0.02 of a second separating the top 4, it's going to be an enticing race to see where these Trianciastocche, EliteJoker, Tommyzz, DC MagiK and EliteJoker come. pelosgt starts 5th, only a 10th back from Trianciastocche, with Wrimz starting alongside him, 3/10 back in the Red Bull. Togomies and the start of row 4 in the Ferrari, with John B alongside him in the Toro Rosso looking for promotion. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. Disco Rob starting 9th, almost 6/10 back, with Leoobot alongside him, John B's teammate in the second Toro Rosso. pelosgt starts in 11th on the first of the medium compound tyres, with Trout alongside him in the McLaren, 1.4 seconds back, so a disappointing qualifying for him. And Wookie Pete starts 13th, 3.2 seconds off the pace in the Red Bull. And Dude Where's My Jev and Sam97F1 once again not setting a time and starting at the back of the grid. And there is one non-starter today of Powerpuff, so it's a 15-man grid for the final race of the season. I'm looking forward to it. And taking a look at the Drivers' Championship before the Brazilian GP, we can see that Pelos has well and truly wrapped up this Drivers' Championship. But the battle we need to be focusing on is for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th places, because DC and Powerpuff currently are in those green spots, which means they're going to be promoted up into GP2, with John B and Craggles very hot on their heels. So it's going to be interesting to see how these 4 drivers race at the start, because they don't want to be collected in any incidents, otherwise they may find themselves not being promoted for next season. As we have a look at the other half of the table, we can see that we've got Leoobot, Wrimz, Wookie and Trout being relegated at the moment. But if Leoobot gets a good result, which we know he is capable of, then he may well be able to demote Rob or Jev or even Sam if he has a terrible race. So it's going to be interesting. Again, we'll have updates throughout the race. So let's head to the race now and see who gets promoted and who gets relegated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the final race of the season. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's xMattyG and Tracy92 commentating for you on this lovely sunny afternoon. Jody, you put money on Togomies last time. Who's your money on this time?
My money is not going to be placed today. I'm keeping well away from the bookies this afternoon, as last week, as Togomies popped up on the screen, went horrifically for my predictions, so I won't be making one. I'm just looking forward to a good race.
Sure, all the drivers are very happy that you're not going to be doing that. The lights are coming on now. We have 4, we have 5 for the final race of the season. F3, the lights are out, and away we go. On board with EliteJoker now, with DC Magic, his teammate, to the right of him. And looks like he's got a little bit better of a launch, and up now, maybe into 3rd place come turn 2. We're now on board with Wookie Pete. Slowly and surely getting through, making up 3 places, in fact, through turn 1, then hitting Leoobot slightly. But Jody, there is no F3 driver in the wall or facing the wrong way.
No, it's an absolute miracle on 54th Street here. It's absolutely just amazing, really, that nothing's happened there. And I'm hoping we're not going to see one more crash this entire race, although it's probably unlikely.
Yeah, that's maybe a little bit wishful thinking, but we shall see. Leoobot trying to avoid relegation in 10th place at the moment, so only 1 point for him, but he needs to make up for a disappointing qualifying. Is John B, who is looking for promotion. He's in 8th at the moment, and he's getting hit slightly by Rob, so he doesn't want to be taken out this early in the race. He doesn't want to be taken out at all, but Disco Rob's going to have to be careful, because I know he suffers from lag issues, and he's a little bit impatient actually going up the inside now. John B having to hang it around the outside of Rob up into 8th place now. So John and his promotion hopes are dwindling at the moment. It's only lap 1, but he's down in 9th, and he needs a lot more points than that to go up to GP2.
He does, yes, as we're here with DC Magic in 4th place behind EliteJoker in the front 2, Trianciastocche, and I can't remember at the moment, someone in Force India. They're going to go 3 wide, Matthew, around the outside. EliteJoker is going to be taking the lead from Trianciastocche if he can break very late 50-metre board, maybe a bit later than that with heavy fuel, but Trianciastocche has absolutely gone, and EliteJoker's taken the lead.
EliteJoker has taken the lead, and Trincia ran a little bit wide through turn 1 in the Senna S's, and now it's Tommyzz up into 2nd, in fact. Trincia's lost another place to Tommyzz, so now Tommyzz is putting up to rich fuel mixture. He missed the last race, Tommyzz did, and he's now well and truly fighting up with the front pack, and Trincia having a little look up the inside. So DRS hasn't been enabled yet, but he's actually gone up the inside of Tommyzz. They're still side by side, in fact, and we're coming towards turn 4 now, and he goes down into standard fuel mixture and making that up to 2nd, but really, the positions at this point, as long as you're in the train, it really does not matter as long as you're within striking distance. Isn't that right, Jody?
It does. I hope Trianciastocche's a bit more careful, because it was a bit of a late dive there, and it could have some crashes. This is DC Magic getting a little bit of a tap there at the first corner. It wasn't completely clean, but 100% cleaner than anything else I've seen in this league, on the first lap, that is. And there's Pelos. It was clearly a lag bubble, so, they played cleanly today.
They did play as cleanly as they possibly could, and we're now on board with Leoobot again for a replay in 10th, and I think he stays in 10th, making a little bit of contact with Disco Rob, then getting hit from behind by Wookie Pete, I think it was, but maintaining 10th position for now. And we're now on board with Togomies, who makes a move up the inside of John B. So that was where John lost his 7th place, and now we're on board with DC, who's in 3rd at the moment. So following Tommyzz. So where's Trincia? So Trincia's lost a position to DC as well. And EliteJoker setting the fastest lap of 14.3. DC only setting a 15.4, so 1.1 seconds off the pace of his teammates. And he's now got DRS, and Tommyzz going up the inside into turn 4 now. And he's made it stick, hitting the curb beautifully, and now he's going to have to set off after his teammate because DRS is now enabled, but Tommyzz is coming back at him now. He's not put it into rich fuel mixture, so he's not going to get as great at it. He's put it up now, actually, in fact, but probably a little bit too late because now there's a corner, and he's had to concede 2nd place back to DC with Trincia running very wide indeed. Is he going to be able to make it stop? Just about. Almost hitting the rear diffuser of Tommyzz, and Togomies now in 5th place, so he's made up another position. And he's now hassling all over the back of Trincia.
Yes, yeah, and I'm looking to see who's at the back of this pack. Someone seems to have dropped off, so that's unfortunate for them as we cut to EliteJoker, who set another purple sector here, 1.6 seconds ahead of DC Magic already. So he's looking to make an early charge, possibly on fast fuel mixture, so maybe a little bit early to make too big of a push, because I'm sure they'll come back at him later. Yeah,
he's made a little bit of a gap. As you can see on the mini-map, he is well and truly out of DRS at this present time. We're now aboard with Wrimz, who's coming under pressure from Pelos, the championship winner. I can't believe Pelos is down in 7th place currently. Maybe he's just giving everyone a chance, but Now here's his teammate Trincia, who also missed the last race, setting the fastest lap of a 13.9. And Tommyzz looking around the outside of DC now through turn 2. And coming through to, there's a little bit of contact, and Trincia's maybe going to go on the inside of both of them, is he? Tommyzz hasn't got DRS, in fact. So now, now Tommyzz has gone very defensive and stuck Trincia in the wall. He's lost his end plate. That is going to affect him for the rest of his stint up until around lap 12, I think, or maybe a little bit before, as he's now got damage to his front wing. That's not gone too well. I'm not too sure who's at fault there. But Tommyzz was extremely aggressive with his defensive manoeuvre there. Almost Schumacher-esque, would you say, Jody?
No, I really want to see a replay there, because the gap was never there. Trianciastocche just decided I'm going to go on the grass, and the grass width was not the width of his car, so he just went into the wall. But I'd like to see a replay just to clarify that, as we're back down with dude, where's my Jeff? Coming, and you hear the voice there. I don't know if you could hear that. Wasn't too happy about that.
That was a little bit reminiscent of Bedhead Ned at Bahrain there, but obviously not as catastrophic. And I don't know where he was going, to be honest, or what track he thought he was racing at. Maybe Malaysia, I'm not too sure, but this is definitely Brazil. And we're on board with Joku now as a 2.8 second lead. So Joker is absolutely flying at the moment. And we now have a replay of Wrimz having a look at the instance going on ahead of him. And what's happened here? So he's slightly hit Pelos, and then that's Disco Rob getting punted off on lap 4. I'm not too sure who hit him there, but we now have a replay of Trincia. Maybe lag bubbling Togomies slightly off the track. Oh no, it was Trincia who took out Disco Rob. Does he wait for him? We shall see. It doesn't look like it, because he's in 7th at the moment. Pelos now up into 5th place, so he's making up some good ground after a disappointing first few laps. But at the moment, EliteJoker is absolutely streaking away, but Pelos is now facing the wrong way. Unbelievable scenes here. I'm not too sure what's going on.
He's got a
there.
Penalty, Matt. Disco Rob is left.
He's got a penalty, and Disco Rob has retired. I'm sure Pelos will get that penalty removed as quickly as he's been given it. But we're now on board with Togomies in 4th place, so there's incidents going up and down the field now. Unfortunately, lap 1 was clean, but it looks like the rest of the race so far hasn't. But, Togomies actually looking around the outside of DC for 2nd here, and he's had to not... Well, he couldn't really get round there, to be honest, but we're now on board with Leoobot. With, who's that? That is Kraggles D up into 8th place now. Kraggles having a very disappointing last few races, doing quite well on 8th place, in 8th place on the prime tyres.
He is, yeah. I think he's the only driver who started on, well, the only person who qualified at least on prime tyres anyway. So he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment for at least sort of 7th, 8th position if he's going to pit from there in. What time was prime tyres going to pit from, do you think, Matt? And as we see John B being pushed wide by Leoobot there, Matt.
That was... Oh, no, that's not good for John at all. He's down into 13th place now. So John's GP2 hopes are definitely going down the drain as a replay of Pelos and... Was it Tommyzz he made contact with?
Yeah, I believe it was. I think it was sort of getting stuck together as Trianciastocche now down in pretty much last place. I just saw him backwards.
Gosh, there's so many crashes going on. I can't keep count. So we've got Trincia off.
He came straight across the track after being off there.
It wasn't Tommyzz. It was. No, I think he lost the back end. To be honest, there, Jody. It looked like he was sideways.
Let's have a look. And now we're on board with Trianciastocche.
Yeah, he's running wide, as you can see here, and then he loses the back end slightly. So no, yeah, he doesn't just turn back onto the track, Jody. So Trincia couldn't really do much about that.
I think he could have made a bit of a better effort to go to the right for the second apex of the second corner, as we went on board with Wookie Beat, who was that driver in last place. Seeing a few cars off, and I've seen quite a few cars off, and well, he was going to gain a few positions, and then he just drove into the back of Dude, Where's My Jeff, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, Wookie Pete's lost his wing, unfortunately. Didn't get on the brakes quick enough, and in fact, it was Disco Rob that actually was caught up in that instant, not Tommyzz, as I said earlier. So that was a correction there. Apologies for that. But now we're on board with DC MagiK in 2nd. 5.4 seconds down the road is his teammate EliteJoker, who is absolutely dominating this race at the moment. So EliteJoker showing absolutely excellent pace right now. And if he can keep the consistency up, then he may well be looking at his first race win of the season. And DC taking 2/10 out of his teammate in that last sector. But really not enough at the moment to be making any sort of inroads into that lead. And he's now got Tommyzz all over the back of him, so they may well lose even more time as we now cut 2 Tommyzz in the Sauber. He's got DRS now, so he should absolutely fly past DC even without no call. He's using a little bit of KERS now just to make sure, and reaches 201 miles an hour. So Tommy's making the move stick very easily indeed. Togomies, it would have been probably good, Jody, to put some money on Togomies at the moment. He's in 4th, running very solidly indeed, and very close to a podium position.
Yeah, and I can see a car's just span at the mini-map at the last corner there. He was on the tail of 5th place, but now he's gone back to the 6th, 7th and 8th. And it's actually, the field spread's a lot bigger than I was expected after quali, actually.
Yeah, I know. Oh, actually, Wrimz has lost DRS as well, just to point out, as Tommyzz has set the fastest lap of a 13.5, but he's made a mistake, Wrimz has, and Leoobot's gone through, but Wrimz will have, oh, he won't have DRS, sorry, no, so he's going to lose another spot, because he can't use DRS because it's failed, and Crackles absolutely flies past the Red Bull, and almost had a look at Leoobot, so Leoobot running very strong now indeed, up in 6th place, when he was in 10th on lap 1, so because of other people's mistakes, he's now benefited hugely and may well stay up. And as I say this, we get the live drivers' points, so DC Magic and EliteJoker will be the drivers to go up to GP2 if it stays this way, with Powerpuff, John B and Crackles missing out. But Powerpuff actually scoring no points at the moment, with John B 2 points and Crackles 6. So if there's any mistakes up the road, then those points could easily collect and become a lot more. So I mean, John, you know, if he gets a few more places up, he'll get 10 points if he gets up to 5th. So, you know, it's still wide open, Jody.
Yeah, John's really got to batten the hatches down and just get on with it. He's got to put pedal to the metal absolutely flat out. I believe he can do it, but it's going to be extremely difficult for John.
He believes in himself, doesn't he, Jody? That's the thing. That's the thing about John B. You know, he will push to get those results.
Yeah, I mean, he's now currently, if he's in the zone, he's thinking outside. He's outside his body. He's looking down on himself, and he's just moving that wheel gently, and he's going to push up, I'm sure.
Or the pad, because he races on the pad, I think. But anyway, this is the live drivers' points of the relegation battle. So Sam and Leoobot and Dude Where's My Jev will be staying up with Disco Rob, who has retired from the race. You know, he should have carried on, to be honest. He could have easily got a few points, but he's going to be relegated 100% by the looks of things if Leoobot and Sam stay in those positions. And Wrimz, unfortunately, unless he has a miraculous win, is going to be going down as well. As we're on board with Wrimz, probably in his final race of F3, unfortunately for him, because he's had some good pace over the past few races, but you know, he just hasn't been able to convert that into results, and he's just been caught up in too many things. And now this is the replay of John B. Is he going to take 3 cars on one straight? He's almost been shoved into the wall by Wrimz there. Very dangerous driving from Wrimz. Wrimz may well even get a warning for that. But John B's having a look up the inside of Wrimz now. He brakes quite early, so John really not sort of putting his car on the line. He's thinking of that GP2 place. He knows that there's 33 laps remaining, and he actually slots in behind Pelos as well. So John B not putting his car on the line at all. And we're now on board with Wrimz. So let's have a look here. So Wrimz, yeah, just moves to the left as he sees the arrow there. I'm sure he didn't do it intentionally, but very dangerous. John could have found himself in the pit wall, and that would have been catastrophic, Jody.
It would. I think Wrimz really needs to sort out, you know, his thumb twitching. I think it's really going to be costly for other drivers unless he can just stay on a straight line, because it could be really catastrophic, as we've got pelosgt in the pit lane to put on his prime tyres on lap 13. It's pretty much around the lap I'd expect him to do it, but a 6.2 second pit stop because he's lost his wing, and now the race leader's coming into the pits with a monumental lead as Tommyzz takes the lead momentarily.
Yep, so Tommy's up to 1st at the moment. He's going to have to set some good laps. I'm surprised the runners haven't come in yet, because, I mean, in the F1 League, I think Monster and the other front runners pitted around lap 9 or 10. So there's a lot more scope for sort of undercutting and things like that, which none of the drivers seem to have used. Apart from Sam, by the looks of things, with a 1:13 flat. So Sam is flying from the back of the grid. We know that he can come through and challenge for the victory, despite starting from last, Abu Dhabi being a prime example. And we're now on board with EliteJoker, who is the net race leader. He's got a 6.9 second gap to Togomies, and Togomies I think hasn't even pitted yet. So EliteJoker out just untroubled at the moment, and it's a really, really impressive drive, I must say, by EliteJoker. And DC Magic in second, his teammate, following Tommyzz at the moment, just about within DRS, but he will be pitting, I think, Jody, for some prime tyres.
Yep, I'm sure he'll be blasting into the pit lane at this moment, and he does. Yes, he does, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking for a 2.9 second pit stop, as I'm hoping to go off with a 2.9 second pit stop bang for the end of the season, as he's now going to have a little cheeky look at some people's lap times.
He's having a look at the race director, so we didn't actually get to see the 2.8.
Oh, 2.8, hello.
So Jody Mills, relax, my friend. But Togomies has pitted, in fact, I'm hearing in my ear. So Togomies is in a net second place at the moment. If he can get in front of Tommyzz and MagiK, here we go. Where is Togomies? He's not actually in a net second at all, because Tommyzz and DC Magic have both come out in front of him. But, well, that's actually 1.9 seconds now. So the lead has come down a lot. I don't know if Joker's made any mistakes or what, but Joker has maybe it's getting to him that he might well win this Brazilian Grand Prix. And he may well have been flying off the road, but we haven't seen any of that, Jody, have we?
We haven't, no, and I'm just going to ask my director in my ear if EliteJoker has won any previous races this season. I'm sure he'll get back to me in a moment.
I don't think he has, Jody, as I think I mentioned that earlier on in the race. But Tommyzz, who is behind Joker, around 2 seconds, so he is well and truly within striking distance if he can set some good laps. But as you can see, as we just saw there, he only has +1 lap of fuel, so he has no fuel really, and there's 21 laps remaining. So Tommyzz is pushing on very hard indeed already. And we may well see him struggling towards the end of the race. xMattyG now, he has 3 laps of fuel, so he can maybe push on and catch Tommyzz. And I'm sure, he has the pace to catch the Sauber driver as he sets a 1:25.5 for his outlap. And EliteJoker setting his fastest lap of a 14 flat, but that is a second off Sam's pace at the moment. So I'd like to know where Sam is currently on the road, but unfortunately we don't have a point of view from him as EliteJoker goes up the inside of Craggles, who is yet to pit. Sam actually still out, so he may well be on the prime tyres, so he's going to be very quick indeed come the end of the race. Are we going to see a repeat of Abu Dhabi here, Jody? 7.7 seconds down the road, and he's yet to put the option tyres on.
It could very well be. It's looking very good, at least for a podium for Sam. But I would love to see what happened to EliteJoker there, because we've got footage with him, and he would have actually got an undercut because he pitted first, yet he seems to have just lost a barrel heap of time.
Yeah, about 4 seconds, I think. So Joker clearly struggling. And who's that in the wall? That is EliteJoker!
And Craggles! They're both in the wall. They've hit each other. Oh, this is absolutely catastrophic for EliteJoker. Just going to watch it.
There's a replay here. EliteJoker losing on the curb and then getting collected by Craggles, losing his front wing as well. Oh, I feel for the man.
I think he got a bump first that sort of put him onto the curb. I'm not too sure, though. But either way, EliteJoker's first victory in GP3 is GP3. We're in F3. Don't mind.
Trianciastocche in the wall as well. So everyone's going into the wall at the moment, hitting the curbs and going into the wall, losing their front wing. EliteJoker, I have to feel for the bloke. He drove absolutely outstandingly in the first sort of 15 laps. But now, after a tiny mistake, he found himself in the wall, losing his front wing. He could have easily gotten away with that, but Craggles sort of collected him and made him go into the wall as well. So Joker, unfortunately for him, is now going to have to try and salvage some sort of result, but he's down in 10th. He's behind Pelos. So Pelos looks like he has done no practice at all for this race, because he is nowhere compared to the likes of xMattyG and the other people in the front pack. Leoobot up into 5th place now, so he's looking very good to stay up in this league now, with Togomies up to 4th, with xMattyG in 3rd. So at the moment, I think the race leader, well, the net race leader is Tommyzz, with Sam yet to pit. And here we go, race control. The penalty given to EliteJoker will be reversed after the race, which I think is completely and truly fair, because I don't think Joker did anything wrong. And his teammate xMattyG hunting down Tommyzz, as we can see. He's put it up into Rich, and he's still got 2 laps of fuel, setting his fastest lap of the race of a 1:13.2. 1.5 seconds now behind the net race leader, with Sam still out in front. And I'm having a feeling Sam is going to come out in around 4th or 5th place when he pits, and he is going to be absolutely rapid on those option tyres.
Yeah, now that EliteJoker's out of the way, he's got an even better chance of winning. I mean, EliteJoker's going to be cutting all sorts of obscenities under his breath to his race engineer, but he's just got to think, if I can just replicate this pace next year, then maybe I can push for a promotion. It's looking bad now, but it could look brighter tomorrow.
It could. That's a very nice way of putting it. I'm sure you can maybe tell him that after the race. Togomies sets a 1:12.8, the fastest lap of the race. Tommy's a 10th back on that, with a 12.9 as his fastest lap. So very similar pace being set by the drivers, but quite a lot of them are just spread out and not within DRS, so we're not seeing many battles at the moment. Hopefully towards the end of the race they may well bunch up, as Wookie comes into the pits now for his second stop after losing his wing. He's gone on to another set of option tyres. So that is not an optimal strategy, and we have a little bit of a graphic down at the bottom here. So Sam is currently in the lead with Tommyzz, xMattyG, Togomies and Leoobot all having stopped, apart from Sam of course, and John B up in 6th at the moment. So if John B stays in 6th place. I think he may well stay up in GP2, which will be excellent for him. I'm sure he'll be absolutely ecstatic as we now cut to Tommyzz, who is about to set the fastest lap of the race, Jody.
Yeah, I think John B will actually be going up to GP2, not staying up in GP2. I think you had a Jody Mills moment there, Matt. But yes, Tommy's just at the purple lap, and I'm thinking Sam's going to be wanting to be pitting very... I mean, I think he could have pitted already because he's just going to be losing time on the tyres to these boys up here. I mean, what sort of time is he going to be losing in the pit stops around here at Brazil, Matt?
I'm not too sure. Maybe about 14, 15 seconds, maybe a little bit less. But Sam is now 3 seconds ahead of Tommyzz now, so my prediction of him having a chance of winning is now going completely down the pan, as Tommyzz is now setting a 1:12.7, so he's absolutely flying, hounding down Sam's lead at a right rate of knots, as Wrimz sets a 13.2. So Wrimz also lapping very consistently, and he's catching John B, who looks like he's lagging slightly, but Wrimz losing the back end slightly through the Yasena S's. And he's just about managed to catch the car, and he's in optimal already, so there's only he's got 13 laps to go, and he's already in optimal, so we may well see Wrimz struggling for fuel, just like we did at the Circuit of the Americas. Yeah,
we might do, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a little table of the promotion places at this current moment. I want to see, exactly where John B's how he's doing in relatively to what he needs to be doing to get promotion. I mean, if he loses one spot, is he gonna stay in the division?
It's not just John B though, unfortunately, that can get promoted. So we need to actually focus on the other drivers as well. But
just a table in whole, I'd like to see.
Yeah, we'd like to see the table in whole. We only speak about John B because we know he's passionate to get up to GP2. So Togomies in 3rd place currently, 1.1 seconds behind DC MagiK now. So Togomies setting some very nice laps indeed. Togomies trying to make up for his mistakes and sort of instance that he was involved in at the Circuit of the Americas. And he's about to set a very quick lap time. I think here we go, 12.7. So Togomies nearly within DRS zone of DC MagiK, all turning in very early for turn 1 and just about managing to get away with it. Togomies is pretty much setting exactly the same lap time, some 700ths quicker, but Togomies is looking very good. If Tommyzz has no fuel left, which we know he's quite marginal already, Togomies could be looking good to maybe challenge.
He does, yeah, and his EliteJoker back up with his best friend Craggles going around the outside. This could be interesting if the two collide again. I could see some absolute fists in the face after the race. I'm sure it's going to be an easy overtake though, as he's going to have DRS coming out of this corner. He does, he clicks that DRS on, and I'm sure a little bit of cares. He's going to slide past, and hopefully Crackles is going to remember his braking point, and we're not going to have a collision. We are not. And pelosgt is just up there in 8th as EliteJoker tries to sort of get a few points from this race, but really it's just next season now.
Craggles still having a look at EliteJoker, trying to get back past, but there's no way for the Ferrari driver, and Pelos, as you say, Jody, is just down the road, so Pelos still not showing any sort of pace. So I'm sure he's probably just given up now, as he is the championship winner. But now this is the race leader. It's Tommyzz, 2.3 seconds ahead of DC MagiK currently, so he's looking favourite to win, I must say, as he's now catching up to, who is this? I think it's maybe Trincia in the Force India. He's about to lap him, yes it is. He's 4/10 up on his last lap, so still Tommyzz setting some very quick lap times. And this is Trincia receiving the blue flag after, at one point, he was up with them.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to, well, I don't think he's going to drop off too much. So he'll probably catch up to him, sort of sitting in DRS. That could be interesting if DC MagiK comes up behind them. There's a back marker in the way, so that could promote a sort of Mickey Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher moment. If I could look forward to that. That'd be pretty interesting.
It could be very interesting. Are you talking about the moment at Spa with the...
I am, yeah. It could promote that, because, I mean, Trianciastocche's not going to drop off too much, because he was on the pace of these guys.
Yeah, that is very true indeed. So DC, well, I think Trincia actually got out of the way quite nicely for the race leaders, so hopefully he'll do the same for these two. Obviously, we don't want the race impacted on some sort of, back marker like Craggle. Well, it wasn't... Was Craggles a back marker at the time, or was he...
He was on old, absolutely Shablong tyres.
Right. Okay, so fair enough. So they were sort of racing for the same piece of tarmac. As DC MagiK sets a 12.7 again, so he is setting some very consistent lap times at the moment, and he is trying to catch It's Tommyzz, who is 2.7 seconds down the road. He's going to get DRS, I think. Yes, he is on the back marker, and Trincia should just pull to the left and let him through. Let's have a look. He's not at the moment, so Trincia is still staying ahead. Now DC, oh no, he's lagged slightly. This is not good. This is very ominous indeed for DC. I reckon he's thinking, Trincia, just get out of the way, you're lagging. You may well take me out if you're not careful. So now he's going to be receiving quite a bit of understeer through the dirty air in these corners, especially as Trincia finally gets out of the way. his race is pretty much ruined, and he's let both Togomies and DC past. And I think Togomies actually gained. Oh, and there's Sam as well, who we were saying could be in for a good result in fourth, well and truly in the fight for second, if not first, on those option tyres with 7 laps remaining, Jody.
Yeah, and Trianciastocche actually let his teammate through there. I think he's actually fighting race position with him, unless he's further lap, maybe 2 laps down. And so we're back on board with Togomies, who is -1 laps of fuel. So he's going to struggle to finish in the podium here. There's 2 drivers behind him, and Sam is directly behind him. And how far is Sam off the lead at this moment? And not actually that far.
Not that far at all, maybe around 4 seconds or so, maybe 5. But Sam is well and truly all over the back of Togomies at the moment, and he's going to get DRS. Is Togomies going to get DRS on DC? This may well be the crucial moment. It looks like he's just activated something on his steering wheel. Yes, he has. Pelosgt sets a 12 flat, so finally we're seeing some pace from the championship winner. But unfortunately, he is nowhere in this race at the moment. Sam having to stay behind Togomies after Togomies had DRS. And it could well be a 3-way battle for second place. I decided not to say horse. And DC MagiK looking like the, well, obviously he's in second at the moment, looking quite comfortable. Togomies not really putting any pressure on him because he has marginal fuel.
He does, and we're back down with the battle for 7th and 8th. I'm not sure if there's any significance of this battle, but we're going to look at this battle anyway. Wrimz is maybe going to use a little bit of curve and try and go for a nice move around the outside here. Thinks better of it. He's got small fuel, so doesn't know he's going to run out of fuel at this point. As you can just run in lean for the final section, you don't really lose too much time. You save your fuel nicely. And I believe John B is still in 6th position at this point. So at this point, I'm sorry to keep banging on about John B, but John B is getting promotion as the race up the front unfolds.
Here we go, side by side with Togomies and Sam for what is 3rd place at the moment. And Sam takes it beautifully through the centre S's. But Togomies will have DRS, so I'm guessing the Ferrari driver is going to come straight back past Sam. So here we go. He's got -1 lap of fuel, but he's going to have to try and get in front of Sam if he wants to have any chance of staying ahead of the Lotus Renault driver. He hasn't managed it, unfortunately. With Sam on the option tyres, I'm assuming that he's just going to streak away from Togomies and chase after DC MagiK for 2nd place, because Togomies is going to have to save fuel as well. I'm surprised he's... Oh, he is. There we go. Lean now. He's actually back into optimal, thankfully for him. So he won't have to save too much more fuel before the end of the race in 4 laps time. So at the moment it's looking quite good for oh gosh, here we go, DC MagiK is looking quite good for Tommyzz out in front, with DC MagiK 3.7 seconds back now. So Tommyzz just has to keep it on the road really, Jody, and he's going to come away with a win.
He is, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if has he got a few victories this year, Matt?
I think he has one at least once.
At least one, and Sam is up into 2nd position, and now it was 3.7 seconds DC MagiK for that corner, so probably DRS zone. Sam's probably gained about 5 tenths there, so he's going to be roughly 3.2 seconds behind him with 2 laps. He could be pretty close by the end, so it's depending on how much fuel he's currently got left.
Yeah, that's an absolutely crucial manoeuvre for Sam. He is absolutely flying. It's the lap 34 and Sam is up into 2nd place. There's only one man that he now needs to catch, and that is Tommyzz. And as you can see, he is streaking away from DC MagiK already. So can Sam catch Tommyzz before the end of the race and get his maiden F3 victory?
Yeah. If he catches that McLaren, sorry to butt in, Matt, he's letting him through. If that McLaren was a little bit further ahead and he caught him at the right time to get DRS on him, that could have been enough to get him close, but I think he might be a little bit too far behind him at this point. But we will see, and actually DC MagiK's gaining rapidly, so I think Sam's in lean at this point, so chance of victory could be waning.
Yep, Sam actually is in lean fuel mixture by the looks of things, and DC got a brilliant tow from him, so he's now going to get a great run out of centre S's, and with the DRS he may well retake 2nd place. I'm hearing in my ear Tommy has won once in Monaco, so I was correct, and DC MagiK now going to the outside, and he is now taking back 2nd place from Sam, so Sam is definitely struggling for fuel as he literally put no fight up whatsoever. It looks like it's Tommyzz, as we start the penultimate lap, is going to take the victory, and they're now side by side again, so Sam going around the outside. He's trying to keep it, but he's actually maybe been hit a little bit there, and he's had to back out of it. So Sam's actually lost quite a bit of time to DC, and now Togomies is now on the back of Sam. So Sam may well find that we were talking about him maybe winning. He may well even be off the podium, Jody.
He may well very be, but it looks like up there. DC MagiK's made a mistake, and Sam's actually back in 2nd position. So we could be looking for. I'm going for it. It's a 3-way horse for the final podium positions.
It is indeed, as we come round the penultimate corner now. for we're about to start the final lap of the F3 Season 6 Championship. We have second, third and fourth covered by around a second, and DC's getting a brilliant run on Sam. So he's going back past him. So DC has decided he wants to be ahead of Sam for the final lap. Sam is going to have DRS, but it looks like he is struggling immensely for fuel. It looks like he was losing quite a bit on the straight, but now he's right behind him as DC's taking a little bit too much curb. So Sam now is going to get DRS, and it looks like he's all over the back of DC at the moment. And here we go. Oh, DC's put it down into lean. What's going on there, man? Why are you doing that? He's just let Sam through, and his Togomies going to go through as well. Yes, no, is he?
That's a catastrophic error there. What is he doing? If he just stayed, he could have even gone in fast for a little bit just to make sure he was ahead. All he needed to do was stay ahead for the final sector. I don't have a clue what he was doing there.
Up the inside, Togomies up into a podium position as well. Sam's getting away in second. Tommyzz looks good for first, but DC's back up the inside of Togomies now. So DC's now finding himself back up onto the podium. And I think Togomies really does deserve a podium here today after his very disappointing drive in America after a very good qualifying. So here we go. DC coming around the final few corners. It looks like Togomies may have run out of fuel or made a mistake. So Togomies is nowhere near DC. So it looks like it's going to be Tommyzz, Sam and DC finishing on the podium for the final race of the season. We might cut to Tommyzz coming over the line any second now. But here we go. Tommyzz takes the victory for the final race. A brilliant race from him. Second goes to Sam. DC. Oh no, it doesn't. Sam's run out of fuel and DC takes
oh
place.
Goodness me!
Unbelievable scenes here, and here we go. The live constructors points to Force India win, and here we go. It's Leoobot in 5th place now. He is going to stay up in GP2 in F3. Sorry, if I am not mistaken, and John B is as well if we come on board with him. So brilliant drives from the two Toro Rosso drivers, and what is John B doing? He's lost 1 place.
Absolutely terrible. He's going to be crying inside that cockpit.
What's he doing? No, I don't think he's run out of fuel. He's going well too slow to have run out of fuel here. I think there is some tactics involved. And as you can see, Toro Rosso was ahead of Sauber and Williams. And because of John B letting these cars through to stay down in F3, Toro Rosso have lost 2 positions in the constructors, which I'm sure he did not know at the time. The 2 Force India drivers are coming along to finish side by side.
I'm sorry, John B has just cost Toro Rosso heaps of money. It's selfish. It's unsporting. It's just pretty disgusting from John B. There, he could now be a GP2 driver. He could be playing with the big boys and fighting for F1 next season. In the new game, he could have the pace. He could just turn up and be like, "Oh, this feels absolutely fantastic."
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Joe, we have to butt in.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
It doesn't matter about John B. It's Tommyzz takes the victory. A brilliant race from him, winning the race by 5.5 seconds in the end from DC MagiK and the Williams. A great result for him. He had a good result in Abu Dhabi, but not so great in the Circuit of the Americas after finding himself in the wall, I believe. Sam 97 F1 after starting at the back, finishing on the podium. A great drive from him. If he could sort out his qualifying, God knows where he would have been. Togomies, a solid drive from him to finish 4th just behind Sam. Leoobot finishing 5th in the first of the Toro Rossos, 18.4 seconds back. D finishing with some points in the Ferrari, with Wrimz finishing in 7th, but unfortunately for him going down to F4. EliteJoker finishing in 8th despite leading the race at one point. I feel very bad for him. John B 19 in 9th. I'm not going to discuss the circumstances once again. And Wookie Pete taking the final points paying position in 10th place. Trout, Trianciastocche and pelosgt all got lapped in 11th, 12th and 13th. Dude Where's My Jev and Disco Rob did not finish, with Powerpuff the only one not to start. But as we now cut to the Drivers' Championship for the final time, pelosgt GT, Tommyzz, MagiK and Powerpuff are all going up to GP2. Those guys, you know, they've deserved it. They've scored some very good points, and John B missing out by 1 point. We won't talk about him anymore because we know the feelings that are going around the paddock right now. Toro Rosso are not happy. I'll be surprised if they keep him on for next season. D also missing out, unfortunately for him, despite a solid result, with EliteJoker and Togomies gaining a position up into 8th. Trianciastocche losing a position down into 9th, with Sam, Leoobot and Dude Where's My Jev all staying up, and Disco Rob, Wrimz, Wookie Pete and Trout going down to F4. So Disco Rob, had he not retired, he may well have come home with 1 point, but we'll never know now. I think he lost his wings, but it's still slightly unsporting to retire before the end of the race, because you never know, Jody, do you?
You never know, no. And I mean, with John B doing what he did, it's just makes me feel sick, makes me feel physically sick.
The Constructors' Championship, Force India taking that title as well with 350 points. Lotus Renault reasonably close behind, 55 points behind. In second, with Sauber taking third place on the last race from Williams and Toro Rosso. We all know the circumstances there. Toro Rosso had third secured until the final corner. So unfortunately for them, they finished fifth, with Williams fourth, with Ferrari in sixth, Red Bull seventh, and McLaren finishing on a lowly 69 points. Next season, we will have coverage of the F3 League.
Who's going to be doing that? As Wrimz, our developer director, has been.
Wrimz is in fact still going to be doing these highlights, Jody. So season 7, I hope you guys have enjoyed season 6, because we will be back for another season. Thank you very much, Jody, for commentating with me.
That's an absolute pleasure. I will be here with you every step of the way next season.
And I'm so happy to hear that. I've been Matthew Gallagher. Thank you very much for watching and tagging along since we started doing these F3 highlight videos. If you enjoyed this one and you want to be part of the Apex Racing League, go to www.apexracingleague.com and you can get involved, and I may well be, and Jody, commentating on you very soon. So until then, season 7, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Hey guys, I'm Wrimz, and you've just witnessed the final race of the ARL F3 Season 6. This was the Brazilian Grand Prix. I want to use this opportunity to thank some people. I want to thank all the drivers of F3, and a special thanks to all drivers that sent in their clips and made this video possible. I also want to thank Fizzy for sort of giving me a little bit of tips on how to edit, how to do certain things. It's really helped me out, and I hope that's shown through my videos. I want to thank Ryan L83 for stepping in as a commentator on a short note, and also doing the qualifying comparison on the America Grand Prix. I want to thank Scott Woolwis for stepping in as a commentator as well, on a very short note. I really appreciate that, and it's allowed me to upload the video a little bit earlier. I also want to thank Team at Marduk for doing most of the qualifying comparisons. And I want to thank Cam Stark for stepping in whenever Team at Marduk wasn't able to do the qualifying comparison. And as you saw in this video, Fizzy Fan stepped in for the qualifying comparison, and thank you so much for that. And of course, I want to thank the two main commentators of the ARL F3 League, Jody Mills and xMattyG. You guys are awesome. There's nothing more to say really. Just awesome guys wanting to do this, put all the effort into commentating here. It's just awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Now, there's actually one more guy that I want to thank, and that's Togomies. Togomies has done all the graphics that you see from ARL F3. It's just awesome. He put so much effort into this, and you can see the results of the graphics. Just awesome. And he is the one that's making these videos with graphics possible, because if I had to do the graphics, there would be no video. That's just how it is. I don't have time for that. I couldn't have developed these graphics on my own. I would spend way too much time, and I really appreciate that Togomies has done this. You guys should appreciate that as well. If not, there would be no videos. So big thanks to Togomies. Applause as well. Thank you so much. And of course, I want to thank all of you guys that have watched the videos, given me feedback, helped me improve on making these videos. I enjoy making them, and it takes a ridiculous amount of time to put together a video like this, but it's worth it when you guys tell me that you like the videos. So thank you so much, guys. This was a memorable season, and I hope I see you guys for season 7. Goodbye.